Why does cardiac arrest produce acidosis? Acidosis is an increased acidity in the blood and other body tissue, i.e. an increased hydrogen ion concentration. What is the relation between metabolic acidosis and cardiac arrest? Metabolic acidosis is quite common among patients suffering from a cardiac arrest. Acidosis sometimes makes it difficult to revive a patient suffering from a cardiac arrest. Metabolic acidosis usually results from apnea, stop breathing. When a person's body gets hypoxic, low levels of oxygen and causes the cells to function anaerobically and results in lactic acid waste. How much the heart and brain consume high levels of oxygen? It's 23 milliliters per minimum and 4 milliliters per minimum 1. This delivery of oxygen falls below the required levels when a cardiac arrest takes place. 2. Myocardial metabolism continues to take place in case of ventricular fibrillation at a more or less normal rate. 3. As a result of this, the high-energy phosphate and oxygen levels get exhausted. 4. Carbon dioxide accumulates in the tissues, and there is also an increased rate of anaerobic metabolism as a result of which acidosis arises. 5. The degree of acidosis that develops in the brain threatens the survival of tissues within the first 5 to 6 minutes or so. 6. Collapse of the cardiovascular system causes a massive stress response. 7. Large amounts of catecholamines are released along with antidiuretic hormone, corticosteroids, and some other hormonal responses. 8. Some possible effects of these changes are hypokalemia, hyperglycemia, and increased levels of lactate, and chances of further arrhythmias. What happens to the brain after cardiac arrest? 1. Brain hypoxia causes changes in the occipital and frontal cortex, and there is also a laminar loss as far as the cell wall is concerned. 2. There is also the loss of the Purkinje cells, and certain changes in the basal ganglia and hippocampus are also found. 3. The brain damage after your heart attack could be something as basic as memory loss to gross damage that is irreversible. For all this depends mainly on how long your cardiac arrest lasts. 5. If your brain is deprived of ATP and oxygen for a long time, it could cause irreversible damage to your brain. 6. If the breathing and circulation is restored quickly, say in about 5 to 10 minutes, there is no permanent neurologic damage. 7. When the oxygen deprivation is for more than 5 minutes, the brain cells start dying. If this happens, the potential symptoms neurologic are long. 8. Difficulty of speaking, loss of memory, confusion, disorientation, difficulty swallowing, weakness of the legs/arms. Loss of motor control and loss of cognitive ability are some of the things that could take place after your cardiac arrest. Note: it is possible that a patient could be brain dead post-heart attack if not revived in time. What type of care should be taken for heart patients? Heart patient diet. 1. People who suffer from heart-related problems are often advised to follow the special, low-fat diet that is high in vitamins, mineral and certain nutrients. 2. It is important for them to follow a special heart patient diet that restricts the intake of foods that are high in fat and cholesterol. 3. One of the most important factors is identifying the difference between a healthy long-term diet plan and a fad diet. For the diet for heart patients, what foods should be permitted to do and what not. 5. When heart patients are put on one crash diet after the other, without seeing much success, they can lose hope and the motivation to eat healthy foods. 6. In fact, several people also feel depressed because they have to follow a special diet very carefully. 7. The good news is that following a healthy heart patient diet neither has to be depressing nor confusing, as there are several options and food items that are a part of such a diet. 8. Foods that are rich in vitamin C are good for heart patients, as it can help boost the immune system in a person and can reduce the risks of any complications. 9. Oranges and lemons should not be the only source of vitamin C in a heart patient diet. 10. Green leafy vegetables like spinach, lettuce and cabbage are very high in vitamin C too. Diet for the patients who have survived after heart attack. The level of sugar in the blood should be controlled even by those heart patients that are not suffering from diabetes. Foods that are high in sugar, white flour and other simple carbs should be avoided or even preferably eliminated from a heart patient diet. Foods that contain whole wheat flour are preferable to products that are made from refined flour. Skipping meals, especially breakfast, is strongly discouraged by any healthy diet. It is better to eat 6 small meals each day, instead of 2 or 3 large meals. The meals that should be a part of a heart patient diet are breakfast and a snack, lunch and a snack, dinner and a snack. Eating foods that contain over 6 grams of soy protein in each serving is excellent for reducing cholesterol by up to 10%. For people who don't eat soybean or tofu, there are other options like cereals that have been fortified with soy. Soup diet for heart patients could include clear celery soup, cabbage soup or any other soups that restricts the intake of fats. The diet for a heart patient should have no more than 30% of the calories that are from fat and no more than 10% of the calories that are from saturated fat. Foods that are a part for animal products will need to be strictly avoided. It is important to consult a doctor for information on calorie intake as well as cooking suggestions. People suffering from any medical condition should never start a diet without asking a doctor first, be it a chronic renal failure diet or a heart patient diet. Dietary tips for heart patients: lose weight should be a gradual process. Kindly avoid any fad diets or quick weight loss methods if good. So always maintain ideal body. Quality of fat is more important than quantity. Along with reducing the quantity, emphasize on omega-3 fats in the diet. This can be done in the form of adding flax seeds and fish. Avoid consumption of margarine, oily or fried foods, red meat, sweet preparations like cakes, pastries, margarine and carbonated drinks. The IARC, International Agency for Research on Cancer, says the term applies to red meat like all mammalian muscle meat and specifically calls out the following: 1 beef, 2 veal, 3 pork, 4 lamb, 5 mutton, 6 horse, 7 goat. Foods high in magnesium helps to protect heart. Include foods such as broccoli, potatoes, Tofu, spinach and wheat germ. Include at least 8 to 9 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables in a day's diet and 1 serving of green leafy vegetable daily. Avoid taking any kind of stress or strain, may it be physical or psychological. What to expect after heart attack. 1. 2 heart attacks are never being similar. It's always unique. Causes differ, symptoms vary, and treatment depends on various factors. 2. There is no fixed recovery timeline, and one may experience some/none of the following problems. Most people complain of physical issues such as fatigue, shortness of breath, and weakness. 3. After a heart attack, the patient may develop palpitations and abnormal heart rhythms. This abnormal heart rhythm may in some cases be permanent or may improve gradually as the heart muscle improves. 4. In some patients, low blood pressure is an issue after a heart attack. Another problem faced by some people is leg swelling. 5. In some cases, the patient suffers from edema, shortness of breath, and coughing. In a few cases, people are known to have gone into an induced coma after a cardiac attack. Emotional issues after your heart attack. Many have to handle, such as anger, anxiety, and depression after the heart attack. 1. Frequent crying episodes. 2. Feelings of worthlessness or hopelessness. 3. Increased appetite or poor appetite. 4. Not sleeping enough or sleeping too much. 5. Increased restlessness and agitation. 6. Expressing thoughts of suicide or dying. Disinterest in life. Life after heart attack is slightly frightening. The main objective is to prevent further attacks and other related risks. It takes at least 2 months to regain normal health. Feeling of weakness or fatigue is obvious right after returning from the hospital. The heart muscles are damaged to a certain extent and require utmost care. Dietary modification and lifestyle changes are made. A note of personal hygiene is of great importance. Individuals are capable of looking into personal needs such as shaving, dressing, bathing and visiting the toilet. Adequate rest is important so as to provide enough rest to the heart muscles. Spread the activities of the day into various sections. This helps in completing the activity in a leisurely manner. Climbing the stairs is recommended under the guidance of a physician. Excessive climbing is not permitted, though the regular walking session is appreciated. Return to light or sedentary activities in a gradual manner. Dusting, cooking, folding clothes and gardening are some of the activities. Avoid lifting heavy objects and pushing them. Return to work requires the permission of your physician. The heart-healthy diet helps in the protection of the heart from further complications. High-fiber and low-fat diet proves beneficial. Complex carbohydrates in the form of vegetables, whole grains, fruits, legumes, cereals and pulses are essential. Fruits and vegetables also provide antioxidants and phytonutrients which help in the prevention of oxidative stress. They eliminate the free radicals from the system. Restrict the intake of saturated fats and cholesterol. Opt for monounsaturated fats, such as olive, flaxseed and peanut oil. Complete abstinence from saturated fats such as butter, lard, clarified butter and mayonnaise. Fat-free milk and skimmed milk products are useful. Decrease the intake of sodium in the diet. Avoid processed and canned foods, as they have a high concentration of salt in them. Increase the intake of calcium, potassium and magnesium. Moderate amount of protein is advised. Variety in the diet helps to overcome monotony. Sleep well in the night. A cardiac rehabilitation program proves beneficial in providing emotional support. Tips to prevent future attacks: keep your blood pressure under control. Avoid smoking and alcoholic beverages. Regular workout session is necessary. Obesity should be curbed. Maintain your ideal body weight. Keep a check on the cholesterol levels. Avoid stress of all kinds. Avoid uncontrolled anger. Aggravates complications. Heart disease or cardiovascular disease is usually caused by high cholesterol or by hypertension, high blood pressure. This disease typically affects the blood vessel, which harden, narrow and get blocked, and may cause strokes or a heart attack if not detected. Early intervention is the key to treating heart disease. Usually major lifestyle changes including dietary changes are advised. Things to keep in mind for a heart patient: 1. Keep body weight within the recommended limits for your age and height. 2. Excess fat, especially around the waist, has been proven to put people at increased risk for heart disease. 3. Quit smoking. 4. Engage in cardiovascular exercise such as swimming, walking, running for at least 30 minutes, at least 3 times a week. Check with your doctor about what exercise you should do if your condition is very delicate. 5. Avoid foods containing saturated fats, salty foods, fried foods, red meat and rich desserts which mainly contain refined sugars. 6. Foods rich in magnesium such as broccoli, tofu, spinach and wheat germ will help combat heart disease. 7. Dark chocolate, almonds, fish, fruit, vegetables and garlic are recommended in the diets of heart patients. 8. Small quantities of polyunsaturated fat and omega-3 fatty acids are recommended to lower cholesterol levels. These are typically found in oily fish, flaxseed oil and olive oil. When designing a diet for heart patient, keep refined carbohydrates and sugars to a minimum and increase the complex carbohydrates, fiber and foods rich in minerals. 1. Breakfast. This should include 1 serving of fruit plus unsweetened fruit/vegetable juice, cereal like muesli which contains a number of fibrous grains and nuts with milk. Avoid sugary cereals. Eat an egg twice a week. 2. Lunch. 1 serving of protein, fish or chicken or cottage cheese or tofu. 1 serving of vegetables, e.g. a salad and 2 slices of whole grain bread. 3. Dinner. Soup. Either vegetable or chicken soup with added vegetables, salad and 2 slices of whole grain bread. Fruits very high in sugar and carbohydrates. 1. Tangerines. 2. Cherries. 3. Grapes. 4. Pomegranates. 5. Mangoes. 6. Figure 7. Bananas. 8. Dried fruit, such as dates, raisins, dried apricots and prunes. Avoid eating carbohydrates late in the night. For dessert, try and stick to fruit. The fiber and natural sugars are just what you need. When hungry between meals, have wholemeal crackers, pretzels or a banana. While preparing meals, remember not to deep fry or use too much grease. Instead, try baking, poaching, roasting and boiling. Use olive oil when you must and try and have at least one serving each of raw fruit and vegetables. Is cabbage diet good for heart patient? Cabbage is typically a low glycemic blood glucose food that is known to be highly effective in controlling the insulin levels as well as in controlling the blood sugar levels. These two factors are keys to loss of weight, and hence many a times doctors will recommend a cabbage diet for heart patients, as obesity and being overweight are linked to many heart diseases. Fad diets such as the cabbage soup for heat patients, which most heart patients food in breakfast, lunch and dinner. Sample cardiac diet menu. Breakfast can comprise of a cup of oatmeal cooked 1/2 a whole grain bagel, an apple and cup of milk. Mid-morning snack of an ounce of nuts and cup of raw carrots with a low-fat dip if desired. Lunch can include grilled chicken salad with cucumbers, tomatoes, iceberg lettuce and low-fat dressing. 1/2 a cup each of boiled lima beans and steamed broccoli, a roll made from whole wheat and 1 banana. A mid-meal snack can include a cup of fresh apple juice and cup of low-fat or fat-free yogurt. Finally, dinner can comprise of grilled or baked salmon or chicken, a cup of steamed vegetables, a medium-size baked sweet potato and cup of milk or green tea.